Hi, I'm Lucas Hansen, host for Oxford Lacrosse Replay. Welcome to the second installment. Today we'll be going over February. We're about a month away from the lacrosse season. We got some interviews with Coach Norman, so stay tuned.
This is the history of lacrosse in 60 seconds. Lacrosse is North America's oldest team sport and originated with Native Americans possibly as early as 1100 AD. Traditional lacrosse games could last several days and were played by upwards of 100 to 1,000 men on fields close to 2 miles long. In 1637, a French missionary saw that Iroquois tribesmen play the game, coining the term lacrosse. In the 1840s, French settlers in Canada took up the game. In 1859, lacrosse is declared Canada's national sport. By 1877, New York University played Manhattan College in the first ever collegiate lacrosse game. In the 1930s, box lacrosse was introduced. In the late 1960s, plastic heads were introduced. In 1987, the Eagle Pro Box Lacrosse League was founded, later becoming the National Lacrosse League. In 1988, the Gate Brothers introduced the Air Gate to the world. In 2001, a professional outdoor lacrosse league was founded, known as Major League Lacrosse. In 2011, the Lacrosse Network was formed on YouTube. Paul Rabel in 2013 was deemed lacrosse's first $1 million athlete. And in 2014, Miles and Lyle Thompson won the Tewaaraton Trophy. That was the history of lacrosse in 60 seconds.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking to Oxford Lacrosse head coach Greg Norman. Greg, you're about a month away from the season. How are you feeling?
You know, it's a cool time of the year where, you're starting to finally see the action. The kids have been playing in the winter. You're going to see some of that action later in the show. We played in Winter League over at Ultimate, and I'm starting to see some real progress. We're going to be a very young team this year with probably 4 or 5 freshmen, 7 or 8 sophomores on this team. Maybe the youngest team I've coached in 20 years. But we're talented. We're just not we're not experienced, and that's the thing that we're trying to get the kids to understand at this point. They're working out 3 days a week, but the excitement's starting to build. We're putting schedules together. We're putting the process together, and you spend the whole off season getting ready, and you see the snow outside, but hopefully we're going to move straight through to the best part, which is we open up March 12th, and our first scrimmage is under 30 days. On our website, we put a bar up, and sort of a countdown bar, and I remember I put it up with probably 140 days on it. Now we're under 30, so it's pretty exciting.
So as of right now, getting closer to the season, what are you guys working on?
A lot of the vernacular. We're talking a lot about words. We're talking about understanding the vocabulary, and one of the things we're going to step up in our program this year is I think we need to do a better job of teaching. You can't just rely on skill, and we're going kind of back to fundamentals when you've got kids that are talented, but they take the shortcut, and we want to make sure that they understand how to play the game. So we're spending a lot of time in our small pod groups, and then when we're coaching them in the off season, whether we're lifting weights and doing those kinds of things, we're spending a lot of time on the mechanics. It may sound crazy on how to hold the stick, but some of them are remembering some of the basic things. And you can't just at this level rely on talent alone. If you don't have the technique and understand the process, footwork and the technique of being specific is very important, because I watch professional teams warm up, and I watch professional teams in practice, and if the $1 million athletes can go back to laying layups off the glass, then I'm sure our kids can understand that it's important. You might be able to sink the ball from half court, but if you can't do a layup, what's the point? So we spend and scope a lot of time on our beginnings and on our process, so we think that's important at this point.
So with it being so close, obviously you're excited, the players are excited. Do you notice anything different with the players?
Yeah,
Closer?
they're starting to get serious, and they realize that being a young team, they can't wait to come out of the gun. They got to come out right now and be prepared. So when we played in the Winter League, we were okay in the first session of the Winter League. We lost our first two games in the second session of the Winter game, and we've won 4 straight. And we're starting to beat some teams, and that goes back to the factor that we're able to break it down every week and look at some things. And again, when we're allowed, the state allows us to work with 4 kids at a time without breaking the rules. So when we get into those 4-man pods and we talk through the process, we talk a lot about specifics. So I see some very specific improvement with each kid, and I think that as we get closer, we've kind of talked about everybody improving one thing that they do wrong, one liability that they have, and if we can all improve that one liability, including the coaching staff, then I think we are 50% better than we were. So it might be the right footwork on an attack. It might be getting a stick up on a defenseman. It may be a goalie not just dumping the ball because he gets. So we're working on those one things, and we were really clear with the kids. We gave them a little file card with what one thing we wanted them to work on, and over the last 3 or 4 months, and they have to carry those cards. If I ask for them, they've got to pull them out of their pocket. And surprisingly, they've done a pretty good job of that. So that's the part as I see that. And then once we get back into regular practice, where I see them every day for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, it's hard when I'm only seeing them for half an hour a week. Now I get it, 4 weeks away where we'll get a chance to see them every day, and that's a huge factor. So I'm excited. But like I said, we appreciate all the work they're doing in the off season, and a lot of people are counting us out. We had this conversation last month, but we'll see. We'll do the best we can, and we play some very good teams, and we'll see how fast we can climb the ladder of experience. If we can do that, we'll be in good shape.
And you said the first scrimmage was on what date?
We head to Brighton March 17th to play 3 of the top 5 teams in the state. So that first scrimmage, nothing against it, but we're going to get smoked probably. But it'll ready us for the season as we get ready. We kind of throw that out. If they win the Winter League, that's fine. But now go play the real deal. And if we do well at Brighton, then obviously we'll be ahead of the curve. But you try to challenge them a little bit to make sure they can understand. But we're all looking forward to the season because it's the time of year when everybody wants to go, and that's kind of where we are now.
Okay, well, you heard it. March 17th, first scrimmage. Greg, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
That was Coach Greg Norman talking about what goes on in the off season. Next, we have an interview with one of the senior players, Jonathan Robb. He'll be talking about some of the academic activities that go on.
HOSA stands for Health Occupational Students of America, and it's a club where students compete in medical events and compete against other schools to try and make it to national competition. And some events are like team events, some are like testing, some are like hands-on, and it's a whole variety of events and stuff.
Can you describe the creative process of the public service announcement?
All right, so as we were developing ideas to educate the public about prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, we did research by looking at the American Heart Association's website to understand how important diabetes is and how it can be prevented. So we wanted to incorporate that into our public service announcement so we can show people the simple ways to stop it. So we started off by doing that. And with the creative process, we decided to do some basic shots and tell a story by someone who gets diabetes or gets a call from the doctor saying he's pre-diabetic and so he has to change his lifestyle to prevent it from developing to type 2 diabetes. And throughout the entire public service announcement, you can see that occur by changing his lifestyle.
What other types of events are there?
So there's many different events in HOSA, and some of them include medical terminology, physical therapy, CERT, EMT, and athletic trainer.
How did you prepare for regionals?
We made a video and then we wrote a speech and did a bunch of practicing.
How successful were you?
We were top 5 at regionals and we made the states.
What's next after regionals?
After regionals, we have states in March, and so we prepare for that, and it's a higher level competition.
What do you want to change in order to make it to nationals?
I want to work more on the speech and make it better.
I think we could make the video more professional.
I think we can add more information about diabetes.
And with all these improvements, we hope to make it to internationals in Orlando.
She came up and kissed me one day.
It was an impulse. I just grabbed him and I kissed him on the lips and I ran away.
Because I was like 20 years old. It's not like something you talk about marriage all the time.
But I asked for her number. She wouldn't give me her number.
No, I think he liked me first for sure because
She's hot. We met in a grocery store.
We were in a class together.
Came up to me one day, says, I got this perfect girl for you.
he was a good dancer, but not too good.
Like he was my soulmate.
She's my queen. Of course, I'm the king.
I said, I have to ask you something. She said, what? And I kneeled down, and
She was laughing and trembling. She gets so embarrassed.
what did I say? I said, will you marry me or will you be my wife?
Will you be my wife?
He proposed to me on my birthday.
And she said, yes. Are you sure?
Sorry.
Winter League season is going?
At first, I think it started off pretty well, and then we just kind of started to decline. And then once we got to the second session, we showed we had some good moments, and we were playing good. But in other games, we haven't been playing as well, and we've just been lacking in certain areas.
How do you think our actual lacrosse season will go?
I think it'll go okay. Like, it won't probably be amazing, because, I mean, we did win blue last year, but we're in a different league now, like higher league, better players, so I don't know how the competition's going to be.
All right, and before I leave you, how do you think, or what do you think, our team is going to need to improve on before starting our season?
I mean, we could improve everywhere. Like, our offense, they need to communicate more, pass better, catch the ball, hold the ball more. Defense, we need to just work on our slides and being positioned better to not let people score. And that's pretty much it.
All right, thanks, Drake League. All right, Gio DeBlasi, how do you think our Winter League season is going?
So I missed Winter 1, but for Winter 2, the first game was, there were a couple of rough spots, and each game we've improved in certain areas and stayed flat in other areas. As long as we improve in those areas, we should be good.
How do you think our main season will go?
We have a young team, so it's going to be interesting. It's kind of up in the air, but if a couple of the talented players step up and do what they need to do, then we should be all set.
What do you think some things we need to work on before starting our finals, or our season?
There were a lot of just little errors today that made a big difference in the game. If we can clean up those small errors, just benches and missed passes and bad shots, then we should be good.
All right, thanks, Gio. Right, Carson Petoskey, how do you think our Winter League season is going?
I liked season 1. I improved a lot personally, and I think our team's getting better. Season 2 has been a little rough. We keep on making minor mistakes, but other than that, it's going pretty good.
All right, what do you think we need to improve on for our main season?
Like I said, kind of our minor mistakes that we keep on having, maybe we need to move a little more.
All right. That's it, thank you. And Nick Viviano, how do you think our Winter League season is going?
The first session was pretty good, even though I missed it, and the second one seems to be off to a rough start.
All right. What do you think we need to improve on when our real season comes?
Definitely defense. We're a bit sloppy there.
Okay, thank you. All right, Dylan Shaw, how do you think our Winter League season is going?
I think it's going kind of rough at the start, but I think we can get better. The first session, it went pretty good, but the second session kind of merged the teams, and it's getting a little rough.
Okay. What do you think we need to improve on?
On defense, it's communication. Offense is just kind of passing the ball and catching it.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Logan Bashan, how do you think our Winter League season is going?
Honestly, very well. Seeing how the team communicates now, I think it's definitely going to pay off in the real season. I feel that with the communication that we have and the chemistry that we share, especially as a young team, I think we're going to be very strong.
What are some improvements you think we need to work on coming to the real season?
For the team?
Yep.
Definitely more verbal communication, because we're such a young team and the lack of experience. We need to share our skills so we can make them into one.
Thank you.
Is that it?
All right. Joey Bertassini, how do you think our Winter League season is going?
I think in the first session we didn't do too well because we didn't really work together as a team as much. But then towards the end we kind of got better, and in this second session we're kind of working more as a team.
All right. What do you think we need to improve on when our real season is?
I think we need to talk more and learn. Defense needs to switch better, so then everyone's covered at all times.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Seth Grove, how do you think our Winter League is going?
I think it's improving. We're definitely getting better. We're just a young team, so we need to just learn more of the ropes and get better at talking to each other and playing with each other.
How do you think, or what do you think we need to improve on for our real season?
We just need to improve on getting our offense together and more cohesive, because we're just kind of scattered right now, and we just need to learn how to work together and communicate and just get on the same page.
Thank you. Nor, how do you think our Winter League is going?
I think we're doing pretty good. We need to work on communication and sliding with our defense, and I think when it comes to the spring, I think we're going to be the underdogs, and we're going to come back and be something that people don't expect.
Awesome. So what do you think we need to improve on for our real season?
Communication within the offense and the defense. That's a big goal for our team. And being a little more aggressive on the ball defensively and passing and cutting on offense. That's it.
Thank you.
That concludes this month's episode of Oxford Lacrosse Replay. Stay tuned as next month the season gets underway. We'd like to thank all of our guests that helped out for this episode. I'm Lucas Hansen, and we'll see you next time.